ما كسوح سيدا freestyle واي أخي ومش أن freestyle واي أنا مي هي ما I don't know I don't know Mr Beast مي هي أنا mine is a freestyle ها سيدا كسوح بوسك أخي مشا م- بربيو بربيو واكاسا waxyarna caadilna waa rabi lahaa hadhowti inuu ka taataabto wallahi dhinaca perspectivekiisa waa meel aniga ka fikireen oo zaid uu taabto wallahi horta sida hadda fursaddan inta waxay kusoo gashaa trader trader haddii aad tahay fursad waa ku qaadan kartaa fursadna ma ku qaadan kartid sida information ku isticmaalaysid adiga waaye perpetual waa u isticmaali kartaa short iyo longna oo geli kartaa as the information aad ku helaysid so anyway waxaa marownaa almost 2 years waxaa kasoo marownaa dhinaca BTC oo haddii aan ka hadlayo BTC haddii laga hadlayo let me see BTC dhinaceeda haddii laga hadlayo dhinaca halving periodka oo kasoo baxday dhinaca last 2024 April ee dhacday halvingkeeda BTC since then waxaa marownaa 2 years from that time so BTC halving last timekiisa oo dhacay waxay ahayd 2024 April ayay dhacday haddii aqal dameen somewhere what is it May meelahaaseeto ee ku dhacday almost 2 years so at the moment waxaa lagu jiraa waxa la dhaho post halving post halvingkana waxaa historygii haddii la fiiriyo post halving the last since the halving of the price of BTC ga halvingkiisa oo ka dhacay November 2012 oo ka bilowday price halvingkiisa this is the first time oo isbedel weyn ayuu sameeyey isbedelkaas oo sameeyna waa price change waxaan ka hadlayo waa price fluctuationka dhinaca priceka qiimaha kor u kacay ama hoos u dhacayo haddii la fiiriyo the events waqtiga ee dhacday 2012 Novemberkeeda halvingkiisa wuxuu ku soo aaday $12 and 150 days later priceka wuxuu kacay 958%. That is the post halving marka la fiirinayo and the post halving and then and the next halving wuxuu dhacay 2016 ayuu ka dhacay and 2016 price halving waqtigaasiyotun wuxuu joogay $60 ay joogtay approximation waaye 650 and 150 days later waxaa ka dhacay waxa la dhaho a price increase of 16% wuxuu aaday 758 oo gaaray and 2020 May 2020 waxay dhacday the third halving the third halving wuxuu ku soo dhacay as a price estimate wuxuu ku soo dhacay 8,800 meelahaas and 24% increase ayuu helay 10,900 ayay gaartay haddii la fiiriyo hadeertaan 150 days from the day of April 2024 ee kasoo dhacday which is almost 24 months wuxuu ku soo dhacay price halving waxay ahayd 65,000 haddii aad ku noqonaysid halvingka oo aad soo fiirinaysid 2024 haddii aad soo fiirinaysid pricing wuxuu ku soo dhacay approximately 65,000 uu ku soo dhacay and 150 days later price wuxuu imaaday 60,250 which leaves us a 7% loss 7% decrease ama 7% correction sa adiga u taqaanid xarafkaas u isticmaalaysid correction ama loss ama bearish soo daadasho ayay tusinaysaa for the first time in the halving periodka post halvingka not pre-halving gooni waayo so there is a pre-halving halving and a post halving if you are one of those people or like aniga camal aaminsan the 4 year cycle really is hasto. There is some speculation la dhahay 4 year having cycle 4 year period cycle ka BTC waa dhamaatay, but there are reasons to show that innocent dhamaanin, and this is one of it. The only changes dhacday waxaa waay the pre-halving that we've seen BTC ee samaysatay a new all-time high. The other one changiga isbedelka oo ka dhacaya the 4 year cycle-ka waa hadeertaan ee ka dhacday post halving 150 days later ee dhacday 7% loss instead of showing a percentage increase. So, and one thing else lagu yaqaano the post halving waxaa la dhahaa post halving euphoria waxa jirto waxa la dhaho jirto. What is that euphoria that I'm talking about? The post halving euphoria majority dadka waxay u yaqaanaan oo the analysts waxay leeyihiin that instead of Bitcoin euphoria marketka waxay raadiyaan dhinaca coinyaasha kale oo speculationka iyakana waxaa ka dhaco the same way and coinyaasha usoo yiraadaan. So instead of investing in BTC, you find some other shit coins in a qiimo ay yeeshtaan that some other coins kor u kacaan percentage fiican ee dhaqdhaqaaq fiican ayay sameeyaan. So there is that post halving euphoria that BTC wuxuu experience garaynaya some kind of uncertainty, price fluctuation kiisa zaid u yaraanaya, then you find some other coins dhaqdhaqaaq fiican inay sameynayaan. So moving on to the also what I wanted Aro inaad ka taabto waxay ahayd the next the waxaan la dhaho the CPI data and the CME soo bixi doono I think April 29 FOMC ga marka iskugu imaadaan, and I'm tying it to BTC the possibility of daadasho fiican waqtigaaseeto inay most likely ay imaan doonto. And the reason why I'm saying that is the Fed officially waxay iskugu raacsan yihiin, not the Fed. The Fed will go aankooda ma la soo gaarin, but officials of Fed qaar they see a potential of a rate hike. Kana waxaan kasoo qaadayaa the news akhbaarta news kan kasoo qaadayaa that there is a possibility of a rate hike oo dhici doonto due to bahalkii Hormuz close-keeda ka dhacday, oil ka kacay, consumer price index there is a likelihood that the consumer price index may raise or ka kici doono from 2.4% to almost 3%. That is going to be a 2.4 hadeertaan uu taagan yahay from February wuxuu soo baxay March, kii March wuxuu soo bixi doonaa April, I think is it Friday haddii aan qaldaneen oo soo bixi doonaa, and it is being expected to jump from 2.4 to about 3.1%. Haddii market expectation ka ay noqon doonto that it will jump high from 2.4 to whatever ay noqon doonto, that is very high dhaqaaq weyn uu samey doonaa, and dhaqaaqaaseeto it doesn't matter if you are on a risk on assets like BTC camal ku jirtid compared to risk off, and dhibaato ayay u leedahay khasaaro and taxadar waa inaa markaaseeto u sameysaa. That is where the shortage of bahalkaneeto risk on ay u badanayso. And and so what does that mean for the Balki, the FOMC meeting? If you just go to Bahalkoda, the futures of the CME, Fed, waxay tusinaysaa the Fed, well, let me just pull that up. Let me see. FOMC group CME group if you go back to them website code haddii aad soo fiirinaysid, there is the likelihood that 3.5 to 375 target rate base point code noqon doono. That means that they are going to probably increase 25 basis points ama hold 25 basis points kiisa in a meeshaaseeto ay ku hold grade doonaan for a very longer time. The only time that there is going to be some reduction of interest rates cut in la samey doono is when this new guy, I think July Mia, I'm a June or low Regidona, the new guy of Nicky Trump or Shakasiye. So when that guy comes in, so there is the likelihood of like Balkaneto red heights in Lejugio or at least Osogoyo. But the question is, last year, I think that is when they stopped allowing the quantitative tightening. Can you guys, I mean, it's crazy that hadartana waxaa lagu jira quantitative easing. Ayadoo lagu jiro quantitative easing, the markets are not seeing that. So tana hore waan u taabtay. The reason they're not seeing that is because of a lag time ka dhexeyso. So there's always going to be a lag. Haddii oo maanta suuqa lacag ay soo gelinayaan, lacagahaas isu soo gelinayso before it even comes to the common people intaysan soo gaaranin waqtigaaseeto waxay soo intaysan annagana soo gaarin Federal Reserve Banks dowladahay soo maraysaa and eventually comes to businesses iyo shicibka caadi like Uncle Joe ani camal daily lacagahaaseeto markaasay jeebkeena soo galaysa, and that's when you start seeing people spending more rather than lacagtooda ay ku dhignaanayaan like we are seeing right now. So saying that the FOMC meeting, there is a likelihood of 25 basis points in a kudari donan, or that they are just going to hold it the way it is. There's not going to be any change. And if there is going to be an interest rate hike at Idonto, it is going to be very horrible for the market. That then we are still within the 4-year cycle. That's my argument. That the 4-year cycle it hasn't changed. Yes, we might see some kind of a post-euphoria market. The marka laga baxo, once you go past April, which is the FOMC, what are they? There's rate hikes, maybe walgudari, maybe mulgudarin suuqa wuu soo daatay, and then you start seeing some kind of a recovery market ko soo noqonaya, and you see some other shit coins dhaqaaq fiican sameeyay, and people might think, oh, okay, waxaa soo galnay bullish. This is now the bullish market kala soo galay, then that becomes a big trap. And the next 1 month camal waa lagu soo wareegsaday, and marka laga qaatay profits kooda laga qaato lagu soo daadiyay, and that's when you start seeing some kind of a bullish momentum. So the last one was, if you look at history and it's within a seat, the 4-year cycle Kaneto BTC, is it still holding? The answer to that question is yes, it's still holding. Wilua hasta, but there is the chances that Balkaneto in eventually Madono, and the only way Madono is when you have the investments of the institutions okay Mado, the banks okay Mado, and the Clarity Acts provides some kind of integration into the public, then the macro of the 4-year cycle, markaseto, we can start thinking about digital commodity. Waxaas dhihi karnaa the 4-year cycle kaseto markaasuu iskugu dhamaaday. The BTC is being put into people's retirements kooda la gelinoya. It's now being put into funds. Faa'iidadeeda markaaseeto isbedelkii suuqa markaasuu isku bedelaya, and you might no longer see this kind of fluctuation. Talking about fluctuation kaseeto, waxaa jirto this percentage kaneto, where is it? Let me just see if I can find it. I just asked Google, how did they just show me the percentage of BTC so say in the past compared to this bear market kaneta hadartan kujurno wili usan dhamanin. The first daadashada daadanaysay the bearish market kala fiirinaye was the before the halving 2011 oo ahay was $32 gaartay, and 99% ay soo daadatay because of Mount Gox. Wuxuu imaaday price as low as 0.01. 2000, this is the post halving markuu dhacay 2012 halving dhacay. So 2013 to 2015 we've seen an 86% crash daadasho ka soo dhacday. And then now you have another one 2016 post halvingkiisa 2017 to 2018 wuxuu soo daatay 84%. 2020ga marka la gaaray, and you've seen an all-time high 69,000, and that's when we start seeing the crash of Luna iyo waxyaalahaas ay soo daadanaysay. So 2021 to 2022 BTC waxay soo daadatay 77%. So we are seeing some kind of diminishing returns. I've touched that also in the past. Diminishing returns means eventually over time suuqa sii socdo, soo daadashada suuqa oo soo daadanayo, especially when you're looking at BTC, not altcoins. So daadashadeeda over time, the percentage-ka inuu soo yaraa doono because of institutionals investing and adaptation-ka uu sii badanayo, that this percentage drop is probably going to be as low as the percentage drop as the S&P camal uu soo daadanayo, like 20% drop, oo la dhihi doono, hey, this is a correction, bearish market aa lagu jiraa, and eventually over time it decreases daadashadiis inay soo yaraanayso. And that's when you start seeing the opportunity of dadka gacanta yar in aysan gada karin BTC, that they cannot afford it because of daadashadii way yaraatay, that the price speculation case and the price case wuu sii dhaqaaqay. It has gone to an aggressive price movement. It goes from 125 to 250 ugaaraya. Now people cannot even afford it. $10 gelinayaan waxay u darayso male. That's why you are being told every day today, $5 haddii haasid, $10 haddii haasid, ku tuur, and just leave it alone, and suuqa seeto ka bax iskaga xar. There will come a time $10 is going to be no value to BTC. It's just going to be, I mean, you rather go invest on Dogecoin, man. So that time, it will be a couple years from now, wallahi, 2028 madero, inshallah, 2030 geri lenaga harto manadero. You are going to see those price movements, that those prices kasu imadonta over time, that this drop kanet will so iranoya. Hadertan, as we speak right now, the BTC drop in itself almost 62% from the previous all-time high. Gisa haddii aad fiirinaysid from the 126 all the way to mesh oo soo daatay, an approximation wuxuu soo daatay almost, if I just put a chart, roughly wuxuu maraya almost what is it, 51% or 52% Umuruya. So 52% drop. There is a possibility that it could go as low as maybe 60% Melas Garai, just 9% away from it. Eventually, over time, Osori Ranuya. And again, last time my argument was every time BTC having Kisa, the previous having low having Kisa Magaro, BTC Mosandafin, it has to, and if that's going to happen, this is going to be the first time in history. Every time, so the last time the halving Kisa, the lowest was somewhere about somewhere between 55 to above, I think 54 to 57. If BTC is to drop as low as what, that is the lowest I can think of. You never cannot estimate madi kartid ila mesha su garidona, and that puts it almost what 70. That puts it about 56% drop. So Allahu alam, I cannot say 100% for certainty. That's why it's okaso no qadono. But if you were thinking you're waiting for one more drop, ku imado, or that drop sun ku imanin. And the reason so ku imakaro is one, no any other reason, is the CPI or kudo'o. And you only have those two chances coming in, Bisha Neto, Bishikala Soso Auto, because of the oil prices, CPI or Adayo. And once it starts going to that, you will see a deal, they start making a deal in between, or Iran, you American Kuwaishi, American Waharab to Weheshay. She just wanted oil reserves in Lagagato. I mean, this is all strategic, right? Iran is forced to close because American, they knew that Iran eventually Hormuz in a Heridonto, and they closed it, right? So what does that mean? That Japan, China, or all the other Asian market, ku xisaabtamay oilasha ee ka rabeen Middle East-ga, they are forced to buy it from Maraykanka, and Maraykanka only wanted that. Ujeedadoodu way ka gaareen that the oil reserves code, the oil code in laga gato oo lacag meesha waddanka la soo geliyo and hadhowtin oo hadan loo furo dhinaca Hormuz ee furmato, things start going back into the market. But the problem is oil wuxuu u gaaray at a very later date u gaaday. It's already late for them. Wixii ka raween maysan ka helin, Maraykanka ka heleen. Maraykankana some percentage contract ku xiranayaan. They are going to show these people meeshaanayto ma lagu tasha karo, meel lagu tasha karo ma ahan, anytime dagaala ka dhici karo anaga nagu tashta. And that was the whole point of winning this war. It was not about like baalkaanayto wax la dhihi jiray regime change in Mason when it was just all about the oil that Maraykanka in laga gato. So they asked those some analysts, or are just talking about that in the Hayan when Ufurmati, and probably Moroccan won the war because of that. And it's all La'aktaneto, it's about the Benjamins. However, your Benjamins are not safer. And this is the reason why your Benjamins are not safer. Dollarka hasatid faida innocent. Anakan waxana innocent. I mean, yeah, hadartan waxa ku gadanaysa. But if I go back to quantitative easing and see the ubilawati, the quantitative easing of the Fed printing money out of thin air, like nowhere, nobody's business, per month. Let me just go see if I can find that. Hadai Meshan Karadinaye. Let me just go see how much is it that they print per month. Allahumma musta'an. Yes, so the Fed stopped their quantitative tightening since last year, Ebilawen, and they started conducting reserve management purchases, meaning that quantitative easing were Bilawen. However, it's not going into Jabab Ken Muso Galoso. They are printing $40 billion per month. Just this April, our head print Grenoyan $40 billion out of nowhere. This is a la'ag that is not in anybody's hands. Qaf has the male. It's just going to a computer, making those numbers up, 40 billion, and pushing it into the market. And the reason why they're doing it that is to avoid the clogs. Clogs kada'ay between the banking system and the IRS. So now the banks have to pay to the IRS wa inay lacagtooda ay siiyaan. And it's going to cause a liquidity shortages for the banks. They don't want that. They are forced to kind of save the banks and print money from nowhere. And that's why this dollar has no purpose. $40 billion per month, every month, January, February, March, December, November, we have print grano and $40 billion. Ila hadartan lacagta seeto anaka meel managa soo gaarin ma ujeednabo. It is going between the Federal Reserves, the banks, the IRS, the investors, institutions. Ayaka kura xisanoyan. While the uncle, the regular Joe, aniga adiga Farah, inta ku jirna at the very bottom, wa kura faduna, and wax naga soo gaaro male, waanu ku qasaruna every year 10% dollar keena hoos u sii dhacoya, lacagteena qiimeena hoos u sii dhacoya. And this is to show you an example of it. That the more they print, the more your dollar loses value. So this quantitative easing Kaneto, is it good for the market? If they've been printing $40 billion per month, and the market has not been seeing that, that tells you that so this correction movement, so the bear market to it's actually good for you, and you don't want their money to come into the market because it's over exploding. Lacagtaas ee hadartan suuqan ee risk on asset ee soo gelinayaan hadhowtin way ka saari doonaan. It's not natural. It's unhealthy money ee suuqa soo geliyeen because they intend to get profits ee ka saaranayaan. And another thing that they are trying to do is also being able to sell their bonds to other countries like Asia. Because lacagaha deemanka badan xagee lagu leeyahay Mareykanka waxaa ku leeyahay China, Japan, meelahaas lacagahaas they incentivize them with interest rates, right? Waxay leeyihiin waxaa ku siinayna 3% or waxaa ku siinayna 4%, and eventually those countries come and buy those bonds or treasury from Marekinka so that they can able to be paying off their debts, which they're not able to pay those debts off. So in conclusion is, have we seen the next drop, or are we yet to expect another drop? So there is going to be possibility. There is going to be some room. There is some room for another drop. That drop kaseto makata high. The person that takes opportunity or kafa de sanayo. Right now, as we speak, it sits at what 71,000 umaruya. If the BTC is to come right now, the bullish momentum kisa at okusoconayo, a bullish case kisa, the what you or aniga aan isdhahoyo is the 20 moving average kaseto oo soo taabanayo, which I don't know wherever it's going to sit at. Hadirtan wuxuu fadhiyaa 78,000. It doesn't matter where the price sits on. That 20 moving average kaseto will soo taabanaya, and then meeshu kasoo noqonayo. But once it closes above the 21 moving average it closes above that seto on 2 consecutive weeks. BTC Wakudase, and that time is coming very soon, inshallah, as it reverses, which is a couple months away from it. I think maybe 4 to 5 months amala hasana as we accumulate over time, and I think that's where I rest my case. CPI, which is probably tomorrow, and inshallah FOMC meeting kisa when they add the Balkanet to Ekudari on 25 basis points, or if they hold it, it's just going to Balki Kenny Dono another bearish the other shikal alaga helayo, and it's a good opportunity for every single one of us. So BTC guys here to mesha kagarsiso, and that's where I rest my case and I end it. Ha, brother, kuso.